Hey guys, welcome to another TST Industries installation video. Today in the shop, I have a 2012 and up Honda 1000RR. All right, so in this video, we're going to show you the installation of our Undertail Fender Closeout that is used to close out all the holes left behind by the removal of the fender. Here I have a sample of what the finished product looks like. It basically closes out the holes left behind by your fender and make sure that you don't get any water and debris in your tail section from the outside. All right, so this is a very straightforward installation if you've already taken off your fender. If you haven't taken off your fender and you're starting with the fender removal, please look at the end of this video. We're going to have an appendix chunk there to guide you through the removal of the fender and perhaps some help with selecting some other components that you will need if you do remove your fender. So without further ado, for this video, let's start with the installation of our closeout. All right, so let's remove the passenger seat and put it to the side, and then jump down to the undertail and continue there. If you've already removed your fender and haven't removed these shoulder washers yet, this is the perfect time to do so. After fender removal, these shoulder washers are still present because they're pressed into your undertail, and you cannot mount our fender closeout without actually getting rid of these from the undertail. They are unnecessary here and get in the way, so let's remove them and move on. All right, so grab the closeout, identify the orientation in which it'll mount. So you have a threaded boss here. If you choose, you can use blue Loctite or some other brand thread locking compound on it. I do not recommend going with anything stronger than blue. I prefer to just use proper thread engagement to make sure it doesn't vibrate off. Okay, so now we need to grab this angle spacer and go up to the top of the bike and work from within the tail section. So looking from this perspective, we will have to identify this hole here. This is where our threaded boss is. We'll place the angled spacer with the sliced part down towards the bottom. And then we will use the washer and the screw that came with the kit. Washer first, and the screw. And then we'll try to align the screw with our threaded boss down underneath in the closeout. This screw takes a 3mm Allen. To shake it around so it aligns itself, so the angled spacer aligns itself to the proper position within here. All right, once I get this tight, with my fingers, I'm going to grab a better tool, and with my better tool, the square end Allen, I'm going to make sure that I get proper thread engagement here. Typically it's 88 inch-pounds for 5 M5 size screw. I'm just going to tighten it to where I feel it's properly engaged, and then we'll be done. Simple as that if you already have your fender off. So now we'll just replace the passenger seat and this installation will be done. Like I said, if you haven't taken off your fender yet, watch at the end of this video. We'll have the instructions for you there. If this is the entire procedure you were doing, now you're done. The installation's complete. Bike is ready to go. Nice, sleek and sexy and sealed up from the outside. I love the way this looks. I'm really proud of this part. Anyhow, Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, hope you'll place them below in the comment field, and check out our other videos and subscribe to our channel. All right, I'm done here. See you guys next time. So in the first step, we will be removing the seats, starting with the passenger seat. So to undo the driver's seat, we first need to gain access underneath it, under this side shroud. So I will get my forefinger under the tip of it and pry it off, and there's a friction fastener that needs to be released straight out, perpendicular to the center axis of the bike, just like that. And then this whole panel pivots out to unlock it. Here's the friction fastener that came out of this location, straight out. All right, once this is loosened, we have access to this Phillips screw. Now you can use a really large head Phillips screwdriver, a lot of force towards the inside, towards the center of the bike. I prefer to use an impact type gun that allows me to get a lot of pressure on it, and it comes out really easily. All right, once I get this done, I will repeat the procedure on the left side of the bike. And now that I have the seat released, it should just come right out. Front leading edge first, and then disengage these tabs from the back and put it to the side. On this following step, we will be disconnecting some of the plugs that need to be taken out in order to release the components that will be coming off the bike. Now, generally, you won't see this on other bikes. This is an accessory that was added aftermarket. We'll need to find this 3-conductor plug. This is the one, there's only one white plug in this area. The way I like to release it is using a little flathead screwdriver. Pry up on the lock and withdraw it. Makes it really simple. Now, this is the main plug for your tail light, and now we will also need to release this plug, which is connected to the sub harness that connects this portion of the bike to the signals, and it's actually snaked through the tail section and through the fender. So we will need to extract the fender and then disassemble it so we could take this back out and plug it back in here. So again, a little screwdriver comes in really handy here. All right, now that we have these out, we can get them routed to the inside of the trunk and ensure that they won't be snagged as we start disassembling some of these components here. In addition, I'm going to take this rubber out, make working here a little bit easier. Alright, so it's meant to really just be pushed off to the side and remain in place. So I'll just unclip it, and now we'll move forward to the rear here, where I will unroute the taillight wire from the guide clip here. And I know it's tough for you guys to see in here because the light is kind of dim, but all these wires will need to be taken out from the routing clips that exist on the forward section of this undertail, so we could actually remove the components that these wires go to. Following my attempt to unroute all these wires in the trunk area, I've realized that we will actually have to unclip one of the undertail shrouds, the painted one, from the bike to be able to get to the routing clips and effectively get these wires out of their routing guide. So this next step will begin by the removal of 5 fasteners, 4 in here and 1 under the fuse box. Now we have this one remaining fastener underneath the fuse box. To lift the fuse box out of place, we will need a little flathead screwdriver. We'll pry up on the tab that locks it in place, and then pull the fuse box out. This is the tab that you'll need to pry up just slightly, and that will release it. And we can put that to the side, and we'll find that last fastener here. All right, so now that the fasteners are out, I'm going to illustrate to you guys here from the bottom that this panel is loose from the undertail. And now it will need to be slid forward to unlock it from the following locations. There's a large slide locking feature on either side here and here. There's also a smaller sliding lock feature that interacts between the painted panel and the black plastic panel here. And there are also 2, one on either side here and here. All of those will need to be disengaged. So how do we do that? We will pry away on the bottom first, and then up top, and manipulate this panel so that as we pry away and push forward, it'll become unlocked. All right, and before we start extracting it, we need to make sure that all of the locations disengaged, and it looks like I've done that. Be very careful with this lock system. All right, we'll put this panel to the side, and we'll be able to gain access to the area where we have those routing features over here. Now, you guys don't have to pay attention to this. This was that accessory I was talking about that is aftermarket. You will not likely have something like that on your bike. So let's now take a look at the routing features. Now we have access here. We can identify the wires that need to be unrouted. And I'm doing that by pushing 2 plugged wires from the trunk in. You can see there's our sub harness plug, is our main taillight plug. Now that I've actually successfully unrouted them, the component you saw fall out was that rubber trunk keeper. I'm just gonna keep it on the tire for now because as we reassemble all these components, I will need to put this back in. All right, so now we can jump up to the top. Okay, now we can actually remove the 3 fasteners responsible for holding the fender onto the bike. These are 10mm hex heads. When I get to the last screw, I will need to support the fender so it doesn't just drop. And as soon as you disengage the threads of the last screw, the fender is free to come out. Just snake out the wire